station of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
Well, after a brief 3 days at Miller Park, we start another road trip tonight. We are in Phoenix, Arizona. It's the Brewers and the Arizona Diamondbacks, downtown Phoenix and Chase Field. The Brewers start a 7-game road trip tonight. It'll start with 4 against Arizona, then 3 with the Colorado Rockies. You bet there are Brewers fans here tonight. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Chase Field. Great to have you with us alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Telly Hughes, our reporter tonight. Well, we start tonight with some tough news about Carlos Gomez. He is not in the starting lineup, and turns out, Rock, it's not just a day off either. It's a little bit of a hamstring injury with Gomez.
Man, talking to Ron Renick about it, it's not real serious, but the last thing you want to do is have Gomez push. He's not the kind of a guy that goes 75%. It's all or nothing with go-go. So Ilian Herrera is going to be in center field, and the Brewers are already short on the bench. Not sure if Gomez is going to be available or not. Certainly Gomez is making a push to win one of those starting spots in the All-Star game. Certainly deserving.
Yeah, the latest voting came out. Gomez has slipped to 4th, hoping to be in the top 3 so he can be a starter at the All-Star game this year. But the Brewers playing a little shorthanded. Remember, they have 8 in the bullpen right now, so that means Herrera, an infielder by trade, will have to play center field. Well, Telly Hughes is standing by. He'll have the story of hometown kid Chris Davis. He returns to Phoenix. Davis swinging a red-hot bat. That's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
for 7 with the first 4 against the Diamondbacks in the Valley of the Sun. It's a homecoming for Glendale, Arizona native Chris Davis, who has been about as hot as the triple-digit local temps over the last 24 games. Hello and welcome back inside Chase Field. I'm Telly Hughes. Chris Davis is back where it all started for a few reasons. That's because Davis starred at nearby Deer Valley High School, and he also got his permanent big league promotion right here in Arizona last season. I caught up with KD before today's game, and he talks about how everything is still pretty surreal.
It's a little different. Friends and family hitting me up, telling me they're coming into the game, how excited they are, and I'm excited to be here. I have some high school friends coming, and I'm sure my high school baseball coach is here, going to be here tonight or some point at the series.
Coming up, the crew will look to go snake hunting in Arizona and kick off the road trip with a win. BA and Rock are back with the first pitch from Arizona after the break.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And we welcome you from the great Southwest. Phoenix, Arizona. They have opened the roof here just a moment ago. Beautiful night here for baseball. Temperatures actually hit triple digits, but it's very comfortable here now. It's 100 out, don't worry. Nice and shady, and going to be dropping down into the 90s tonight.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry
heat. That's what they say, right?
I'm not sure I've ever worked a game with the roof open here at Chase Field, but it's great to see. Ron Renneke and the Brewers trying to get back to winning ways after a loss yesterday to the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the Brewers lineup today. No Carlos Gomez in there, so it's Jeanette Braun and Lucroy at the top. Ramirez back in his cleanup spot with Chris Davis hitting 5th. Mark Reynolds, the former Diamondback, hitting 6th. Bottom of the order is Gene Segura, Elian Herrera, who will man center field tonight, and Willie Peralta rounding it out, the Associated Bank Brewers lineup. And Rock, that's the batting order that will face Brandon McCarthy. He's been a tough draw this year, tough to figure out in that he is 1-9 with a 5.29 ERA and really a tale of 2 games when he pitches this season.
Yeah, it seems as though he starts out pretty well. I mean, first 3 or 4 innings, all of a sudden he gives that big inning. He got off to a rough start this year. His first 3 starts, allowed 16 earned runs. That's a rough beginning to a season. Hasn't been all that bad since. His lone win came on May 3rd against San Diego. And let's check out the Diamondbacks as they line up defensively. You got Keesig, who just got called up today. Peralta and Parr in the outfield. Prado, Owings, Hill, and Goldschmidt from third to first. And Miguel Montero, the good left-handed hitting catcher behind home plate. He's going to be hanging the signs for McCarthy here tonight.
There's Ted Barrett. He's the crew chief. Man to watch in case we have a replay challenge. By the way, congratulations to Ted Barrett. His son Adam inducted into the Army today. He's heading out to Fort Benning tomorrow. So we are thinking about the Barretts, Ted, and his son Adam.
That's good for him.
And Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire, steps out of there quickly. Not quite ready to go in right field. I don't know. I think a ball got loose down in right field. Scooter Gennett will lead the way for the Brewers once again. His 6th consecutive start in the leadoff spot. First pitch of the ball game is in there for a strike, and away we go. Gennett coming in batting .296, has 3 homers, 18 driven in. Done a very good job in that leadoff spot. Has an on-base percentage of .335 right now. That's for the overall season. But his on-base percentage is pushing closer to .400 as a leadoff hitter. Well, the Brewers having to makeshift a little bit with Elian Herrera. We touched on that in the open tonight with Gomez not available. Gomez is not thought to have a serious hamstring injury. But Renicky wanted to give him a day off. Gomez did take batting practice today. He just didn't run. So Herrera, an infielder by trade, pressed into duty in the outfield as Gennett strikes out. Montero put the tag on him to secure it, and that's how the night begins for Brandon McCarthy.
Well, you'd certainly rather be without Gomez for a couple of days than force him in the lineup and then have him pull that hamstring and miss him for about a month. A good breaking pitch from McCarthy. Slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. Into a two-seam fastball, a cut fastball, and he's got a pretty good overhand curveball that'll throw once in a while to right-handed batters.
Here's Ryan Braun with one away. Braun coming in batting .281. His batting average has really slid lately. He's had some hard hit balls. He's not swinging the bat as poorly as the numbers would show. He did have a key 2-run homer on Saturday night that proved to be the game winner for the Brewers against Cincinnati. That was an 8th inning home run on Saturday at Miller Park. And he slaps that one right to the second baseman Hill, and that's about the way it's gone for Ryan Braun here lately.
Yeah, they've been pitching him in, although McCarthy didn't want that pitch on the inner half of the plate. It was a breaking ball, and Ryan Braun jammed himself and an easy floater out to second base.
Now, yesterday it was Jonathan Lucroy touching them all into center field. Powerball home run number 6. At the time, it pulled the Brewers within a run. And Lucroy continues to impress. He's batting .336. Starting play today. And back in that 3-hole as he takes strike 1.
He's been an outstanding number 3 hitter. As you mentioned, that batting average very good. The on-base percentage near .400 for Lucroy, so he's been patient at the plate.
He's been one of the toughest hitters to strike out in the National League as well. Strikes out only about every 9 plate appearances. Troy Tulowitzki continues to surge with the Rockies. His batting average is up to .362 now. And Lucroy checking in second in the league. Gomez is in the top 5 as well. He's 5th. Arizona's Paul Goldschmidt is 6th. Lucroy out to short. This is Chris Owings to make the play, and a 3-up, 3-down beginning for Brandon McCarthy. Willie Peralta's turn next. We head to the bottom of the first. They go in order, and a strikeout for Brandon McCarthy. Now Kirk Gibson and the Diamondbacks coming up against Willie Peralta. Gibson now in year 5. They've had a little turnover in their executive ranks. Tony La Russa now running their baseball operations. Gibson's Associated Bank lineup has Gerardo Parra, Martin Prado, and Paul Goldschmidt at the top. Miguel Montero, Aaron Hill, David Peralta in the middle of the order with Chris Owings, Roger Kieschnick, and Brandon McCarthy rounding it out. And there is Willie Peralta back from the Dominican Republic. Went down there for what the Brewers are calling family matters, and Rock does not miss a start. He's back on his 5th day.
Actually did some throwing down in the Dominican Republic. He's won 2 in a row, and that was after losing 4 consecutive decisions, although he pitched pretty well. It's only been 1 bad start for Willie. That came against the Cubs. He gave up 6 earned runs. And making his 4th career start, or I should say 3rd career start against the Diamondbacks. He's 1-1.
Gerardo Parra will lead off for the Diamondbacks. Arizona took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers earlier this year. That was at Miller Park in May. And it is interesting looking at these 2 teams. Basically, they've played the same kind of baseball since May began. But as the Brewers were extremely hot in the first month of the season, winning 20 of their first 27, it was just the opposite for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that's essentially the difference in the record. And Arizona sitting at the bottom of their division and the worst winning percentage in the National League. Meanwhile, the Brewers, the 2nd best record in the National League and atop the NL Central.
Yeah, it's always tough to play catch up when you get off to such a bad start.
Parra beats one into the ground to Segura, and he makes the play for out number 1, and that's how it starts for Willie Peralta. And how about the defense behind Peralta, courtesy of Menards?
Well, let's focus on Ilian Herrera making his 2nd start this year out in center field, with Carlos Gomez out tonight, at least in the beginning part of the ball game. That's hamstring strain. You know, got Davis and Braun in left and right. Ramirez, Segura, Jeanette, and Reynolds with Lucroy behind home plate.
Now, Herrera has played the outfield. I wouldn't say it's a comfortable spot for him. He's certainly below average to average as a defender in center field. But the Brewers are carrying 8 relievers in their bullpen, so they have only 1 backup outfielder right now, and that is Herrera. Remember, Logan Schaefer sent to AAA to get some at-bats. Martin Prado hitting 2nd in this Diamondbacks order.
Now, we've been talking about how inconsistent the pitching has been for the Diamondbacks, but these guys can score some runs. A couple of guys you got to keep an eye on: Goldschmidt and Miguel Montero, the 2 guys 3 and 4 in the batting order.
Now you look at their lineup, and it feels like a lineup, and they've got some injuries they're dealing with too. Their terrific young center fielder A.J. Pollock has a hand injury that required surgery. Had a couple of plates in there. Got hit by a Johnny Cueto pitch. They're without Mark Trumbo. There's a bouncer back up the middle. Tough play. Segura ranging over. Throw first in time. How about that play by Gene Segura?
Put a circle around that one. That was a tough play. The tough part of that play is being able to handle that in between hop right there and then transfer the ball out of the glove. He's running full speed. He's always on such good balance. That's how you make a play like that. He's always on balance and able to get a good throw off. Good, accurate, strong throw to first.
Garth Ordge, the Brewers infield coach, raves about his body control. Seems to be in a position to always make a play. That was a big one with Goldschmidt coming up. 2 quick outs for Peralta. And a guy who's putting together another terrific season here in Arizona. .309 batting average, 15 home runs, 51 runs batted in. And no question the centerpiece of this Arizona Diamondbacks lineup. Our AT&T U-verse rewind. Rock, he destroyed the Brewers in the month of May. Got Willie Peralta with a home run. The Diamondbacks took 2 out of 3, and Goldschmidt had a big hand in it.
Well, because of that, I mean, this is how you have to handle Paul Goldschmidt.
He whistles one to right. A base hit for Goldschmidt.
That's the way you want to face him. Nobody on base.
That's the way the Brewers are going to have to try and deal with him during this 4-game series. He's going to get his. Just make sure there's nobody on in front of him. You got to handle Parr and Prado, number 1 and 2 hitters in the lineup. Look at that stroke, a 2-0 fastball, and just hits a bullet into right field.
Goldschmidt is the National League leader in hits. That is his 87th hit of the season, and this is game number 73 of the year for the Diamondbacks. So a base runner on Goldschmidt for Miguel Montero. And he's starting to heat up a little bit. Had a nice run against Milwaukee in Arizona, or rather at Miller Park. Goldschmidt extending his hitting streak to 10 consecutive games. And that's been a pretty good 1-2 combo for the Diamondbacks, but it hasn't shown up in the win column that often recently. They suffered a very rough road trip through Houston and Los Angeles, winning just once. They were 1-4 on the road trip. Salvaged the lone victory yesterday in Los Angeles.
And the Diamondbacks 12 games under 500 here at Chase Field, and 500 on the road. Kind of unusual to have, you know, that type of success on the road and just can't seem to win at home. It's the worst home record in baseball.
Peralta working from the stretch for the first time, with Goldschmidt at first and Montero in the right field, a base hit. Goldschmidt on his way to third, and the Diamondbacks with 2 outs putting up a rally here. Back-to-back singles, Goldschmidt and Montero.
And Montero able to hook a pitch on the outer half of the plate, and even with the shift, able to punch one into right field. Not a bad pitch. Looked like Willie took something off that pitch. Might have been a changeup, not sure. But you had Montero out in front of it.
So that'll bring Aaron Hill to the plate. A Brewer killer, was 5 for 8 with a home run against Milwaukee at Miller Park earlier this season. Had 4 runs batted in. Aaron Hill's batting average against the Brewers lifetime is .432. That is the best all time. 18 games, pretty significant sample size as well. .432 average, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in those 18 games.
Yeah, so he's due to make some outs.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, can't be that good that long, right?
So it's a game of averages. There's a swing and a miss, and it's quickly 0-2 on it.
And especially when you make pitches like that. That's a nice slider right there. Back-to-back sliders from Peralta. The first one in for a called strike. That one out of the zone.
Peralta in some early trouble. There are 2 outs, but the Diamondbacks threatening with 2 on. 0-2 to Hill. Lays off the slider this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good numbers with runners in scoring position and 2 outs this season. Hitting about 50 points higher in these clutch situations compared to his overall season average of 257. Got him. Peralta on the outer edge, and a strikeout to end it. Diamondbacks strand a pair. We head to the second scoreless. Diamondbacks strand a pair. And let's give you the All-Star voting update. This is the American League now. It's courtesy of Feldco. And you see who the leaders are at the various positions. Interesting that Nelson Cruz still setting the pace in front of David Ortiz. Monday, July 14th is the Home Run Derby on ESPN. Then Tuesday, July 15th at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central is the All-Star Game on Fox. All-Star voting on MLB.com concludes in early July. So you have just a few weeks to continue to vote. You get 25 votes per email account. And trying to get Carlos Gomez and Ryan Braun and Jonathan Lucroy moving up the charts.
Yeah, Gogo dropped to 4th. That can't happen. Got to get out and vote for him.
Top 3 outfielders will be starters at the All-Star Game. Aramis Ramirez leading off for the Brew Crew here in the 2nd inning. Ramirez, Davis, and Reynolds coming up here. The Brewers go in order in the 1st. Second-year Diamondback Brandon McCarthy
has not pitched with too much luck in 2 seasons with the Diamondbacks. 6-20 combined between this year and last year. It looks like he's throwing the baseball pretty good. 6'7", 205 pounds, tall, lanky right-hander.
And the Twitter-friendly Brandon McCarthy. He's one of those stars of social media around Major League Baseball. Pretty funny guy. Suffered a gruesome head injury while pitching for the Oakland A's, and he admitted that it affected him a little bit as a Diamondback last year. Took a line shot as Ramirez lines one to right. A base hit. Over to cut it off is Parra. And Aramis Ramirez with the first Brewers hit. And a man on here in the 2nd.
That's a pretty good pitch right there for McCarthy. Check it out. Fastball might have been up a little bit off the outside corner. Look at Ramirez really keeping that front shoulder closed and just serving it out there in the right field. Able to get on top of it. There's a nice at bat by Aramis Ramirez.
And that'll bring up Chris Davis. Hometown kid here. Davis. Telly Hughes told us the story before we started tonight's game. It's a Deer Valley High School. And Davis expecting a good group of friends here at the ballpark. Some guys he went to high school with, his high school coach.
It's a tough thing to deal with sometimes when you're a young player. First time you're dealing with it. And first time he's made an opening day roster and stuck around the whole season so far. A lot of demands when you come back home and play. Remember going through that when back to the Yankee Stadium. A lot of folks want your time. You got to stay in that routine.
Now this is where it all started for Davis, at least the 2nd round when he had success in the big leagues. Remember last year he made the opening day roster but struggled at the plate in the beginning. He was sent back to AAA. He was so disappointed, felt like he had let the team down, let himself down. But he went back to AAA, did all the things he needed to do. He started to hit, got back into his mechanics. And then Ryan Braun got suspended. At this time, Braun was injured, would later be suspended. But Davis began that 2nd tour in the big leagues here in Arizona, in his hometown. And things changed significantly from mid to late July of last year to the end of the season, when Davis hit 11 home runs at one of the better home run ratios in the National League during that stretch, and was so successful that the Brewers moved Ryan Braun from left field to right field to make room for him to start this season. Davis hits that one high and deep right center field. This is way back there. Long run for Peralta. Hits off the base of the wall. Ramirez around 3rd. He'll try to score. Here comes the throw. No throw as they bobble the relay. And scoring all the way from 1st on a triple. Aramis Ramirez is in. Davis puts the Brewers on top.
Now that's what he's been able to do lately. That's driving the baseball to the opposite field. Nearly hit one out right there. Got under it a little bit. Check it out. Davis nice and quiet. The curveball from McCarthy. He just waits back. Spanks it out there into the gap in right center. About halfway up that wall. A little bit of a bobble. A little bit surprised that they gave him a triple. It could have been a double and an error, but he gets a triple and an RBI. Ramirez watching it, and he's able to score.
Was that my imagination, or was that the slowest developing RBI triple you've ever seen?
Well, if you're Ramirez, yeah. I mean, he's not running all that well. Plus, he wasn't sure if that ball was going to be caught or not. Yeah,
when we picked that replay up at second base, he wasn't dogging it. He's waiting to see if the ball is going to be caught. And then he was shocked that Ed Cedar was waving him home.
He's saying, "You're kidding me, right?"
Not realizing that the relay had been mishandled.
Yeah, but two things when you're talking about Chris Davis. The first time last year and second time when he got called back up. Confidence and playing time. Those are the two things that he had second time around last year.
Well, Davis with an RBI triple in his first at bat in his hometown this season. Mark Reynolds with Davis at third. This is Reynolds' first game at Chase Field since he played for the Diamondbacks. Last year here was 2010. His big year for Arizona was in 2009 when he had a 40 homer, 20 stolen base season. And that run through the American League through Baltimore and New York and Cleveland. Never had a game here in Arizona during that stretch as he draws the walk, and 3 consecutive base runners to start this second inning against McCarthy.
Now, the one thing that we heard about McCarthy as we got in here today is that he's very susceptible to the big inning, and he's on the verge of one right here. Brewers have an opportunity to put a big crooked number on him right now. First and third, nobody out, a run already in. That's been his issue this year.
Well, it'll be Gene Segura to try to add to the inning. First and third, 1 run in, nobody out here for the Brewers in the second. Segura bumping up 1 spot in the order, hitting 7th tonight. Comes in batting .247. He's been in a slump as well. Due for a hot streak at some point. Maybe Arizona will be to his liking. Got good numbers, against Arizona. Small sample size in 10 games, but a batting average over 400.
Well, Johnny Namer is trying to get him to stay back a little bit. Sometimes he drives a little bit too quickly with that back leg and finds himself out in front. Not able to get the pitches he should hit. Maybe swinging the pitches out of the strike zone because his head's moving. Trying to get him to stay back a little bit.
Now, whatever he gives you offensively is a bonus. Last year was a major bonus for Segura. I don't think anybody expected the kind of offensive season that he had last year. Pushed a 300 batting average most of the season, and actually up until the last couple of weeks looked like he was going to hit 300. Fell off at the end. He's such a dynamic defender, though. He's already made an impact on this game with his glove. He's turned himself into one of the elite defensive shortstops in the league.
Yeah, there aren't too many guys that make as many tremendous plays as Gene Segura, both up the middle and in the hole between short and third. He comes in on the baseball extremely well, and that play he made in the first inning on Prado was a dandy. But he'll hit again. He's just got to stay back. Got to just relax a little bit at the plate. Get off to a slow start this year.
He's got a fastball coming. And he shoots one to Goldschmidt to second for 1. The return throw is in time. What a great play that was by Paul Goldschmidt. Another run scores, but no RBI for Segura on a beautifully turned double play, 3-6-3.
Yeah, so what does Johnny Nairn tell him? Try to drive the ball to the opposite field. He does. He hits it hard. But all he does is hit into a double play, so some bad luck for Segura, but the run scores.
Hit it like a bullet, Goldschmidt. A nice pickup.
And that's the thing that's frustrating when you're having a tough time at the plate. You do everything right.
Leon Herrera into right field. That's going to get down a base hit. Swinging away at the first pitch. Herrera filling in for Gomez. Singles.
Pitcher number
Not a bad hitter from the left side of the plate. He's a switch hitter and struggles as a right-handed batter. He's had a tough time getting hits batting right-handed, but lefty, pretty good.
So here's Willie Peralta. Peralta probably feels like Babe Ruth when he plays baseball in Arizona. His 2 spring training home runs came here in Arizona this spring. This is his city for home runs.
This is a place they hit them.
Right.
You don't have to be a home run hitter to hit home runs in Arizona, especially in spring training.
Peralta figures to be a guy who will hit a little better than 083, though. He's a good hitter, and during batting practice, he's regularly hitting balls in the seats. He's got a good swing, got an idea, just hasn't translated to the game. Something about the big league pitching that hard to cross over that threshold.
It has something to do with it. Big league pitching, Marcus Hanel in batting practice is laying him in there.
Right. That 65-mile-an-hour fastball from Marcus Hanel, the bullpen catcher, is a little bit different. But he looks good in batting practice, and that's part of it.
I know what you're saying. He has a good swing. You're right.
I mean, he looks like a hitter at the plate. That's really all that matters. Broke his bat, and the out at second to end the inning. The Brew Crew with 2 on the board in the second, and they lead 2-0 as we go to the home second.
He used a real light bat, and I kind of used a lighter bat, so I found out what kind of bat he used. He used a B267, 32.5/30. I had our clubhouse guy order a bunch of those bats, thinking that, hey, maybe if I use the same bat as Tony Gwynn, I'll get as many hits as him, and it didn't work.
Craig Counsell here doing radio this week for Bob Uecker, and that was a tough one this morning to hear the loss of Tony Gwynn at 54 years of age, complications of cancer. And Rock, we've seen him over the last couple of years. Certainly Craig Counsell and those who played the game understanding, like you, understanding how great he was as a player. What a great man, though, Tony Gwynn was.
Yeah, and of all the things that he did on the field, I mean, you know, nobody was better. Was it? You know, led the major leagues 18 times in hits, and you know, just a consummate professional out there in the field. But you know, the stuff that he did off the field, nobody knows that in the off season he'd go to clinics, youth clinics, just show up and start talking about hitting. Chris Davis had a great story about Tony Gwynn and the influence that he had on him. Probably hear from him later on, but still in all, I played against Tony Gwynn a lot through the minor leagues, and right away you knew that this kid was something special. He was something else. He could hit, and he was a very good defender and just a good guy. Knew how to play the game and understood what it meant to be a major leaguer and the impact he could have on the community.
Coached at San Diego State. Most batting titles all time. Ty Cobb has that mark, but Tony Gwynn is second and had 8 batting titles. Perennial All-Star. We got to know him a little bit better and a little bit differently when the Brewers drafted Tony Gwynn Jr., brought him to the major leagues. Gwynn Jr. was here. Tony, Big Tony, used to watch a lot of the games. David Peralta singles off Willie Peralta to start this second inning.
You know, Tony Gwynn and I played against each other in Double-A in the Texas League. Remember the Dudley Dome, the original one, and their PA announcer would have a nickname for each one of us, the El Paso Diablos. Mine was Shotgun because I was a catcher. And from that year all the way until, you know, the last time I saw Tony, he'd always address me as Shotgun.
Nice. Nice.
So I'll never forget that.
He's going to be missed a lot. We're going to miss seeing him in San Diego, and of course there are ties here in Arizona as well. Kevin Towers, longtime general manager of the Padres, is now the GM here in San Diego. Or in Arizona, I should say, did a press conference earlier today, and he summed it up best. Kevin Towers said it's like losing a member of your own family, and those who knew him well feel that way. And we also send our condolences to those that he has survived by, and including his son Tony Jr., who we got to know well as a Brewer player. There's a line drive back up the middle. Chris Owings singles, and this inning starting just like the Brewers' second inning with back-to-back hits.
Already 4 hits allowed by Willie Peralta. Willie's a guy that doesn't give up a lot of hits. Only 77 hits in 90, or I should say 80 and 2/3 innings coming in. Anytime you have less hits than innings pitched, you're doing a pretty good job. The Diamondbacks getting some good swings, getting some pitches to hit.
Now the Brewers get 2 in the top of the second. Now the Diamondbacks put up another threat. They stranded a pair in the first inning on 2 hits. And here is Roger Kieschnick, just up from AAA. Arizona put Bronson Arroyo on the disabled list. First time he's been on the DL in his career. And instead of replacing Arroyo with a pitcher, they went with an outfielder in Kieschnick. Kieschnick played in 4 games earlier in the season for Arizona, went hitless in that stretch in late April. He's been in Reno, and he's been swinging the bat pretty well down there. Kieschnick, a .280 batting average in AAA with 9 home runs, 29 runs batted in, and has been hot in AAA lately, hitting for a .316 average over the last couple of weeks. There's a foul tip into the middle of Lucroy, and it's 2-2.
Man, there's a good pitch by Willie. He has a shot to get out of this inning. He's got the bottom of the order, get a ground ball here, double play. That last 2-seamer was what Willie normally throws. He was leaving a couple of pitches up in the strike zone. That was a good one.
Certainly way out of this inning, but this is the key hitter. You got the pitcher coming up next. 2 on, nobody out, and Peralta misses down and away. Falls off the mound.
And change up that time, missed down and away. That's where you want to miss, though. Well, you'll see Willie do that once in a while. He'll fall off that pitcher's mound from time to time, but he's all right. Just loses his balance once in a while.
Full count to Kishnik. And a shot back up the middle and a base hit. Coming around third is Peralta. The throw all the way through. Gets by everyone. And a mistake in center field by Herrera. It's going to be an RBI single for Kishnik.
Well, the throw should have gone into second base. There's no way you're going to get Peralta scoring on this base hit. Ball on the ground, he takes off right away. Herrera needs to throw this ball to third base, if anything, not home plate. Air mails Lucroy and goes all the way to the screen. I don't think there's going to be an error on the play. But certainly got to hit the cutoff man if nothing else. Looked like he might have had to play at third base. But inexperience in center field catches up to the Brewers already.
Yeah, now second and third with the pitcher coming up. Herrera throws one all the way through, and that'll take the Brewers out of a double play chance.
Number 32, Brandon McCarthy.
McCarthy has 3 hits this year. He's 3 for 24 at the plate. Big 6'7" right-handed hitter, and he takes a strike.
You saw what that last fastball was to Kishnik. It was pretty straight up in the strike zone, and Kishnik got a good swing on it. You wonder how much the disruption of his routine is playing a part of early struggles here today for Willie.
Peralta, after his last start, which was a beauty against the Mets, flew back to the Dominican Republic. And there's a base hit. And this is going to bring in 2 runs. Herrera cuts it off. McCarthy puts the Diamondbacks on top. 4 consecutive hits for the Arizona Diamondbacks. 2 RBI single by their pitcher.
And that one right down the middle of the plate. Willie's making some mistakes, and the Diamondbacks, even the pitcher, slider up in the zone. And just leaving that one very hittable for the Diamondbacks pitcher, and he drills it into the gap in right center, scoring a couple of runs. So Willie leaving a lot of pitches up in the strike zone, particularly that breaking pitch.
Got to question the pitch selection a little bit there with the pitcher at the plate. Back-to-back breaking balls against Brandon McCarthy. When you possess a 96, 97 mile an hour fastball.
And the fact that you're not really able to locate the slider like you would want to. You just left that one up, and you're doing a pitcher a favor when you hang a slider.
Now, yesterday the Reds put together 6 consecutive hits against Rob Wooten. The Diamondbacks have 4 straight hits in this second inning. Still nobody out. 3 runs are already in. And here's a chance at a double play ball. Jeanette, Segura to Reynolds. And Peralta needed that in a big way. 4-6-3 double play for 2 quick outs.
And that pitch was up. Parra hit that one pretty well. It was up and in, pulled the hands in, but he hit it right in Jeanette.
Here's Martin Prado with 2 away. Grounded out his first time up. And there's a shot. Base hit just past Reynolds. The 5th hit of the inning for Arizona.
Yeah, 7 hits, all singles. That pitch pretty much down the middle, maybe a little middle in. And Prado slices it right by Mark Reynolds at first base.
Now McCarthy with the 2 RBI single, giving his team the lead. Now Peralta has to deal with Paul Goldschmidt. It's been a 3-run inning on 5 hits. Big cut and a miss by Goldschmidt.
It's obvious what the game plan is against Willie. Get one early in the count, go after it. That was a pretty good slider there. Well, he's got to locate better early in the count.
Fastball just missed. Peralta's been getting ahead. First 12 batters he's faced, he has 10 first pitch strikes. But 7 hits already. And the most dangerous bat in the Arizona lineup at the plate in Goldschmidt. 2-1.
Yeah, a lot of those first pitch strikes have been offered at and hit pretty hard. Not all of them have been base hits, but some of them have been hit hard right at the Brewer infielders.
Goldschmidt pops it up. Foul territory. Jeanette will make the call, and a basket catch to end the inning. But the Diamondbacks score 3. Top of the order coming up for the Brewers. To you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. And by Gerhard's, the kitchen and bath store. Find inspiration for your home, remodel, or new construction project at Gerhard's. Well, the desert has been a tough place to play for the Brewers recently. They dropped 5 out of their last 6 here at Chase Field. Brandon McCarthy with 1 swing of the bat. 2 runs batted in. Had just 1 career RBI coming into that last at bat. He singles in 2 runs to give Arizona the lead. And here we go to the 3rd. 3-2 Arizona. Top of the order coming up as Jeanette takes ball 1. Last time up, Jeanette struck out. That's how the game began. Hits that ball hard into right center field. That is way back there. It's gone. Scooter Jeanette to center field ties the game. The littlest guy in the ballpark goes up there where the big boys hit him.
Absolutely. 413 where he hit it. He's got that high wall out there. What's that, 20 feet up? Just able to sneak over that yellow line, and the Brewers right back at it, tie it up on a Scooter Jeanette home run. Look at the location, up in the zone, not much of a sink on it, and drives that one into the gap out there in right center. Hit that one about as good as he can hit it.
Scooter Jeanette with his 4th home run of the season. Yeah, quiet down The cat calls coming from his own club about his power. But Jeanette, he's got a little pop. And
yes, he does.
We've seen flashes of it. I have not seen him hit the ball that far.
Well, here we are in Arizona, right? Everything opened up here. Ball's going to be traveling pretty good tonight. The 15th home run allowed by Brandon McCarthy. And check this out, a bullet. Not sure it was going to be high enough. Well, he hits that about, 5 feet to the right. It's going to be a home run, no problem. But pretty high fence out there.
Braun dribbles one foul. Just like that, the Brewers even up the score. Chris Davis has an RBI triple, and Jeanette with the home run. All 7 of the Arizona hits are singles at this point. And Braun shoots one down the right field line. Parra's got a great arm. Braun will settle for the single. And the Brewers keep it going here. So the second batter of the inning, Braun singles to right. Man on, nobody out.
Yeah, both of these pitchers having a tough time getting the baseball down. Ryan Braun able to slice one down the line. Hey, pitching phenom Steven Strasburg and the Washington Nationals come to Miller Park Monday, June 23rd through Wednesday the 25th to take on the first place Brew Crew in a matchup of playoff hopefuls. Call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
Always great to see Brewers fans on the road. Got a big following on the road as well. Braun at first. Here's Lucroy. Lucroy grounded out to short his first time up. McCarthy had a 3-up, 3-down inning. Gave up a 2 spot in the second. The Jeanette home run to start this third inning. And a spinner in there for a strike. 1-1 the count.
And back-to-back breaking pitches from McCarthy. First curveball missed. Second breaking ball caught the corner.
McCarthy just 1-9 on the season, an ERA at 5.29. Arizona got off to a dreadful start, winning just 3 of their first 22 games as far as the Diamondbacks starting pitchers go. So the start of the year, 3-15 the record for their starters. They've actually got a game over 500 record in the last 50 games. So a lot of the numbers you see on Arizona, especially their poor pitching numbers, came in that first group of games. That ball's whistled into center field. Jonathan Lucroy with a sharp single to center. And 3 consecutive hits to start this third inning. And everybody's got their hitting shoes on here tonight.
Especially when you hang curveball. Check out where this curveball ends up for Lucroy. I mean, he just waits back. Well, that's about as perfect a swing as you can see on a breaking pitch. Not trying to do too much with it. Bangs it right back into center field.
Mike Harkey, new pitching coach here in Arizona, out to chat with McCarthy. Numbers jump off the page at you with McCarthy. You talked about it, Rock. Typically his first 3 innings, which would essentially be the first time through the batting order, his ERA is right around 2. Much worse after that. So you could break that down even a little better. So first time through the order, opponents are hitting 174 against him. The second time through the batting order, opponents are hitting 360 against McCarthy. And a 991 OPS that combines on base and slugging. So it's not just about just getting singles. He's giving up some rockets.
And the thing is, he might be throwing too many strikes. I mean, he's 8th in the league in walks per 9 innings. I mean, throwing a lot of strikes, maybe throwing too many strikes. Like that right there. Pretty good pitch to hit. Ramirez takes it. He's got a strikeout to walk ratio at almost 5-1. So he's not walking anybody. He's got some strikeouts, but he's given up an awful lot of hits.
Yeah, he's leading the National League in hits allowed, as a matter of fact. The Brewers have 6 of them already. As Ramirez, little half swing, he goes. And it goes to 0-2 on Ramirez.
And most of the time when you see, a walk to strikeout ratio like that, it's always a positive thing. But with McCarthy, he gives up a lot of base hits, 100 hits coming in 85 innings. That's a ton.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. And Ramirez fouls it off. McCarthy does get his share of ground ball double plays. Does have a good sinker. And you can see the area in front of home plate is watered down and very soft.
There's actually puddles out there.
It actually plays in Peralta's favor as well, so no complaints by the Brewers.
No. We were looking at it around the batting cage. He even had it wet down during BP today for the Brewers. It looked like a horse racing track.
It's a little mushy in there.
Damp, a lot of dirt in there. And the reason they do that is guy has a sinker. A lot of batters are going to be beating it in front of home plate. It'll soften the bounce and might not roll through into the outfield.
This is a very hard, fast surface here in Arizona. Even though it's natural grass, it moves. They cut the grass really short, and ground balls fly through here just like it was AstroTurf. No balls, 2 strikes. And Ramirez into right center. Parra is over and makes the catch. And now Braun is going to be doubled up at second base. Another base running mistake by the Brewers. Parra's a Gold Glover out there.
A great throw, great catch, and a good throw. He gets up right away, realizes Braun's trying to score on the play. That's not even close at second base. Yeah, just trying to score. I mean, if that ball drops, he's going to score easily. He tries to get a little bit too much, and Parra makes him pay for it.
Now, since 2011, no outfielder in the National League has more assists than Gerardo Parra. He has 41. That's ahead of Jay Bruce, Carlos Gomez, Carlos Gonzalez, some of the best throwers in the game. Parra's right there with him. Not sure what Braun was thinking there. Probably thinking he was going to have to get on his horse to score. But that ball had some carry to it, and Parra makes a terrific catch.
Yeah, but even if that ball drops and he's not able to score, he's there with the bases loaded, nobody out.
Instead, 2 outs and a runner at first.
So let's get back to McCarthy. That's an 0-2 pitch that he threw to Ramirez. He hit a rocket into right field. That's what we're talking about, maybe throwing too many strikes.
Davis, a shot right back at McCarthy, and he'll make the play. And the Brewers run themselves out of a potential big inning. Parra cuts down Braun, but the Brewers tie it. Scooter Gennett To the bottom of the third, a Scooter Gennett home run ties it. Segura's in our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery. How about this play in the first inning against Martin Prado?
Look at the way he opens up that glove and almost treats it like a basket. Able to keep it in the glove, that softens the hands too, and able to make the play. The tough part of that play is getting the ball out of the glove as fast as he was going toward first base.
He's good for a highlight reel play every night, Segura. A lot of offense so far in the first 2.5 innings. We'll see if Peralta can restore some order. Diamondbacks with 7 hits already. And Montero leads off, and a fastball right by him. Montero swinging for the fences. 13 batters faced, 11 first pitch strikes. And Rock, you mentioned it, the Diamondbacks are going up there swinging tonight. They are aggressive after Peralta.
Well, Willie's giving him pitches to swing at too. And both he and McCarthy are leaving pitches down the middle up in the strike zone. Both of these teams are getting some pretty good swings.
Montero singled his last time up. Reached out and served one into right field. Looked like a tennis backhand. He was a little out in front of the pitch. He's a good hitter. This matches 2 of the best hitting catchers in the National League, in Montero and Lucroy. Montero has more home runs and more RBIs. Lucroy hitting for a higher batting average.
And both of them play just about every day.
Two balls, 2 strikes on the Diamondbacks catcher. And a swing and a miss. Peralta went with the changeup that time and picks up the strikeout. Good pitch.
That's a beauty, right where you want it. Hey, tonight's time for the game winner. Bridges Bar in Lake Nebagamon. Is that what it is? Nebagamon?
Oh, everybody. It just depends, you know, local vernacular. You say it the way you want it.
All those at Bridges Bar, I apologize if I mispronounced the lake. Anyway, the Tavern Contact calls the Brewers in the next 24 hours. They get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. I've never fished out there.
Nebagamon. Nebagamon. That's a tough one.
Usually at home we have Mike Faulkner.
Yeah.
He knows everything and anywhere in Wisconsin.
Right.
We could have used him.
Not with us on the road.
We don't need him for, you know, Middleton and Sheboygan, those types of things. But, yeah, that last one's a toughie.
One gone for Aaron Hill. Peralta has him down 0-2. Doesn't chase that slider. Yeah, Brewers have been road weary. They've actually played pretty well on the road this season. Had a nice 5-3 road trip on the last trip. Spending a lot of time in the suitcase during this stretch. But you got 7 games remaining of this tough stretch where the Brewers have 15 of 18 games on the road. 16 of 19 days on the road. And then the Brewers return back home on the 23rd. You got the Nationals and the Rockies on the next homestand, and then schedule starts to turn in their favor a little bit. Hill into right center. Herrera playing deep, lays out to make the play. Elian Herrera making sure he had that one in his glove. Nice play.
Yeah, making it look a little bit more difficult. I mean, that's what makes you really appreciate what Gomez does out there in center field. I mean, he's waiting for that one. He's just used to positioning himself. Willie's hoping he makes the catch and able to haul it in dramatic fashion. Only his second start in center field.
Uncharted territory for him. He is extremely deep on orders from Ron Renicky, Eddie Cedar.
Yeah, Eddie was out there doing batting practice today, just trying to show him some of the nuances of the ballpark, the outfield wall here at Chase Field, and, you know, positioning, those types of things. And It's tough to learn that quickly in batting practice.
If you're just joining us, Carlos Gomez not in the starting lineup today. A little tightness in the hamstring. Not expected to be serious. And as a matter of fact, he took batting practice today, so it's not the kind of injury that requires a full shutdown. But desperately needing a day off, maybe 2 days. We'll see how he heals up tomorrow. Gomez has played a lot, though, and he plays hard. So if you're going to play him, you certainly have to have him at 100%.
Yeah, there's no telling Gomez to go 75% or just take it easy unless you have to, because he only knows one way to go. But you know what? Nothing wrong with giving him a day off today. And you see how the game goes today. You see how Herrera handles himself in center.
There's a shot to center field. So Peralta giving up a 2-strike single to David Peralta, who is 2 for 2 against Willie Peralta. And a man on with Chris Owings coming up. Let's check in with Telly for more on Gomez.
Well, B.A., I had a chance to talk to Carlos before tonight's game, and I asked how serious is it, and he said, I'm just sore. And I asked, could he play? He said yes, but I was advised strongly not to play today. But I went on to say, does a day really make that big of a difference? And he said yes. It's like the equivalent of taking a weekend off of a normal job. He said he should feel really refreshed after this day, and he looks and plans to be back in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that tends to get lost on people like us who haven't played this game at this level. Rock, you played in the big leagues, and a day off when you're doing this every single day can feel like a weekend off.
Yeah, and you know what? A day off when the team has a game and you're sitting in the dugout does a lot more for you when you have a scheduled team day off. You just sit back, you watch things as they unfold. You're more of a student in that dugout. You have yourself a good time, and you get a lot more out of that than you do when you have a travel day and you don't have a game. The team doesn't have a scheduled game. It's just one of those things. So hopefully this is going to be just what Gomez needed. Not that he was having a tough time. Just have to keep him strong throughout the season.
Yeah, you got to play for the long haul. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Owings, and he hits one hard center field. Herrera is there to make the catch. Boy, there are some hard hit balls already in this game. 3-3 tie.
All knotted up at 3 apiece. Manager Ron Renicky kind of took a page out of the Joe Madden book and had a little fun on this road trip. In this first Twitter picture you see, it's the guys dressed up as cowboys, and that's Wei Chung Wong and Jay Shi, his interpreter. They were the horses, and then there were rappers. And if you look closely in the middle, yes, that is Ron Renicky. In the middle, bad boy rapper right there. And then you cannot deny probably the best one. Kyle Lyle Overbay as Vanilla Ice. Unbelievable. And he actually had the parts shaved in his head, and he still has those today.
Yeah, he shaved the side of his head and he shaved his eyebrows. That's
a commitment.
That was an incredible scene on the plane yesterday.
How about the skipper, though?
Skipper stole the show.
He was awesome.
No question about it. Ron Renicky, he said his wife Karen picked out all the gear, and he was the one that won the award if they're giving out such things. They did that a couple of years ago.
Now Wong and his interpreter are going to have to carry around those horse costumes all trip.
Yes, they are. Yeah, that was the funniest of the bit. Frankie Rodriguez provided all of the bullpen attire, so it was Wranglers and Rappers Day. Ed Cedars there in the Wranglers outfit, but then that's why the long face. Wei Chung Wong.
See the body language? He didn't look like he was really bought into the whole concept.
That's hilarious. I had no idea it was them until they took the horses' heads off.
Right.
And then I realized that was a major league pitcher right there. Mark Reynolds chose the Rapper gear yesterday. That was good fun. A lot of laughs yesterday, especially after a tough loss. Renicky and Joe Madden, of course, are very good friends, and they used to have these discussions with the Angels. They were never able to do it with the Angels, but always said when they've managed teams on their own, they would do the theme trips. As Reynolds grounds out to short for the first out of the fourth.
Yeah, let the guys have a little bit of fun, right? Doesn't hurt anything.
So one away here is Gene Segura. Now you went with the cowboy attire yesterday, but you didn't really have to stretch.
I didn't have to buy anything.
It
Had
was
it all.
Kind of looked like your normal look.
Right. Yeah, boots, jeans, yeah, cowboy shirt,
cowboy hat.
Yeah. That felt right at home. You did a nice job. By the way, I mean, you kind of panicked when you got to the ballpark. You had no idea what was going on, right?
No, I had to rustle up some last-minute equipment. I actually had clothes from a real-life rapper. So I feel like I get some kind of award for that. My buddy Greg Marshall.
Yeah. You look good.
Yeah.
Had the baseball hat or the riding hat, and then you had the hoodie.
Had a little bit of a Unabomber look. But it was a good look. It was good fun. Of course, the khakis and the loafers didn't really pay it off from the waist down.
You did a good job.
I tried to hide.
You recovered nicely.
Ball and a strike on Segura, and a broken bat. Little roller out to short. Owings makes the play for the out. Two up, two down. Yeah, those are all the Rappers together.
You're right at the very top, right at the top center,
right between Willie Peralta and Matt Garza.
Yeah.
And but you can't help take your eyes off Ron Renicky. And the guy next to him, John Shelby, had the gold teeth going, and
yeah,
that was pretty good. All the fake money.
You think it was fake?
Oh yeah. Herrera sends one deep to left. This will be playable for Kieschnick. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Brandon McCarthy. We're tied at 3. We go to the bottom of the fourth.
center field, but hey, there's somebody out there. Hey, with the Brewers Baseball Academy presented by Quick Trip, your child will receive over 30 hours of professional instruction. Plus, meet a Brewers player, get a full Brewers uniform, 4 game tickets, and a VIP trip to Miller Park. Reserve your spot today at brewers.com/camps.
Kind of a kid's version of fantasy camp.
Right, yeah.
How's Brewers fantasy camp coming along?
Coming along, you know what? That was like a cornucopia of possible fantasy camp coaches on the Brewers Wall of Honor. That whole event. I was passing out cards, phone numbers, and
that's going to be part of the charm. You can go to the Wall of Honor and say, that was my fantasy camp manager.
Exactly. Efforting Ben Sheets, he sounded very interested.
Oh, that would be great.
They said he can't throw anymore, though.
That's okay. You'll find somebody with that kind of stature. You could put a pitching machine out there.
You got Jerry Augustine.
No, he can throw it all day, all night. Roger Kieschnick leads away for the Diamondbacks. Peralta needs a good, clean inning here. Worked a scoreless third. He did give up a 2-out hit, but he's at the bottom of the order. Kieschnick singled and drove in a run in the second inning. He's got the pitcher due up next, and then Gerardo Parra. You could say this on just about any night in the major leagues, but it is imperative against this particular lineup to control all of those hitters in front of Goldschmidt and Montero. You just cannot have those guys at the plate with runners on. Kieschnick sends one foul.
That was the same with Albert Pujols when he was with the Cardinals. Teams would say that about Braun when he was hitting the third spot. But that's why it's so important for the top of your order to be effective and get on base. That's why managers set their lineup. They get their on base percentage guys to the top of the lineup for the run producers.
Peralta ran into trouble in that second inning, and it was the bottom of the order that did the damage. 4 straight hits. Hitters 6 through 9 in that inning, including the pitcher McCarthy. There's a swing and a miss. Look out. Helicopters the bat into the netting. Kieschnick is out. 3rd strikeout for Peralta.
Yeah, it's the biggest backstop in all of baseball. It's a good thing that time. Saved somebody a bruise right there. I mean, that backstop goes from the end of one dugout all the way around to the end of another dugout. You don't see the backstops in baseball that big. And kept that bat in play.
Yeah, that's a new addition there at the end. Fortunate. 1 gone for Peralta as McCarthy takes a strike. McCarthy got a slider his last time up and slapped it into right center field, drove in 2 runs, which doubled his career output in 1 swing of the bat. That was the last thing on Peralta's mind, facing McCarthy in the second inning. But regardless of whether it's a pitcher or not, you got a bat in your hands, you're dangerous.
Especially when you hang sliders to pitchers, middle speed. That's what they want. Just about the only thing most pitchers can handle. You get it down in the zone, a lot different. Willie didn't want to hang it. He wanted to throw it down in the zone, but left it up, and McCarthy drove in a couple of runs.
Part of a 3-run second. Still tied at 3. 2-2 the count on the pitcher McCarthy. And down he goes. Fastball right by him. Back-to-back Ks for Willie Peralta. Now it's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag WisFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. And it's all brought to you by AT ARI. It's going to be tough to top those tweets from yesterday. Rappers and Wranglers Day on the plane, but do your best. Social media exploding just moments after some of those pictures hit the players' Twitter accounts. Top of the order, here's Parra. Gerardo Parra has an outfield assist today. Base running mistake by Braun might have taken the Brewers out of a big inning. That was in the 3rd inning. Brewers did score a run to tie it in that frame. Parra pops it up. Back in the outfield grass. Here comes Herrera. And that will retire the side. And that's the inning Peralta was looking for. 1, 2, 3 go the D-backs. We head to the top of the 5th. How about down on the farm? It's courtesy of Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Brock, did you see this? Huntsville, the AA affiliate of the Brewers, sending 10 players to the Southern League All-Star game. Yeah. They're having a great year. Wisconsin sending 5 players, the T-Rats, in the Midwest League, and even Brevard County with 3 representatives at the Florida State All-Star game as Willie Peralta diving stop Owings to his feet, and the throw is in time. Willie, first pitch swinging. Excellent play by the Diamondbacks shortstop, Chris Owings.
We've seen a lot of base hits. We've also seen a fair amount of pretty good plays defensively. There's one right there. Parra made a nice play out in right field to start a double play. There's a dandy. Segura and Herrera for the Brewers. And we talked to Bruce Side, what was it, yesterday, right? About the rookie ball club supposed to be pretty good. Got their top picks going to rookie ball.
And all those guys signed, sealed, delivered, and here in Arizona. I was talking to Matt Krug, who is the team psychologist, and he spent some time with the new players down in Arizona. So they're just starting their trek now to the big leagues, starting here in Arizona, kind of acclimate to the professional game. That's the biggest difference, right? In the different sports. Baseball is typically the longest journey to get to the major leagues, if you even make it that far. But there's a lot to learn, especially for 3 high school kids who were the top 3 picks this year.
And typically it does take a little bit longer for a high school kid that signs to perhaps get to the big leagues and advance a little bit quicker than a guy coming out of college. Some of these big college programs, it's almost like the minor leagues. And playing every day and hitting with wood. You know, pitchers being able to pitch to hitters with wood in their bat in their hands is a little bit different than having to deal with that aluminum bat.
Jeanette into center field right at Peralta. And there is out number 2.
I will tell you this, going from college and swinging an aluminum bat, even back with those big old metal pipe bats back in the late 70s. And those Worth bats are heavy. They were heavy like wood, but what a big adjustment it is to go from an aluminum bat to wood. You know, the sweet spot on wood, only about 3 inches as opposed to about 6 inches on an aluminum bat. It's a big adjustment for a kid.
And not to mention just acclimating to the pro game, the lifestyle, playing every day, keeping your body in good shape. You got to watch what you eat, how you exercise. And then for those three guys, those top three picks, as you see the Powerball home run leaderboard, for the top three picks of the Brewers, you know, they're going from high school ball to the pro game. And there's the whole culture of being away from home for the first time and
being able to make decisions on your own. So, you know, you got to get your rest. I mean, that's a big thing. I know, you know, you go out of you leave high school and then you go and you're traveling around playing baseball. Tendency is you want to go out and have a good time, but you got to really be careful with that kind of thing. And sometimes it takes some players a little bit longer to understand that than others.
Well, throughout this series, a lot of the younger Brewers who are in Arizona getting ready to start their pro careers will be coming here to the ballpark. A lot of them are here tonight, as a matter of fact, scattered throughout. Getting a taste of the big leagues.
Yeah, there were a lot of players in the minor league, low minor leagues when I was there that had a lot of talent, a lot more talent than I have, but they didn't know how to manage their time. And that's a big part of trying to get through the minor leagues.
Braun bounces one to short, backhanded by Owings, and it's in time for the out. And suddenly McCarthy has settled down. He's retired 8 straight, still tied at 3.
The Crooner Community Special Olympics is a long-standing nonprofit organization that has provided critical support for children and adults with intellectual disabilities, allowing for participation in sports-related activities and competitive experiences year-round. Brewers Community Foundation serves as the presenting sponsor for this year's rappelling event at Miller Park. Brave and courageous individuals are encouraged to take advantage of this unique opportunity to raise money for Special Olympics while engaging in a fun-filled experience. If rappelling isn't for you, rally your coworkers to toss your boss or someone else over the edge, taking place at Miller Park on July 19th. I didn't say that, I just had to read it.
Yeah, that's good copy there, Telly. Good job. And that's a great cause to support the Special Olympics, and we stand behind it. All tied at 3. Martin Prado at the plate against Willie Peralta. In the air to right field. Pretty well hit, but Braun with room makes the catch for out number 1. Well, and all of a sudden these two pitchers have settled in a little bit, restoring order after a wild first couple of innings.
You got to give them credit after a rocky start, able to find their groove, get their rhythm out there in the mound, starting to make better pitches. That's one of the major differences in Willie Peralta this year and the first half of last season. He started out poorly. Pretty good chance he wasn't going to be able to last very long. Gave up a big inning, not able to get himself out of trouble, but all of a sudden things turned around for him, and you see the results.
Now Peralta Looking for back-to-back wins. He's 6-5, ERA of 2.90. Had one blow-up start that hurt his ERA, even though it's still a very good ERA. That 6 earned run game he allowed against the Cubs. Peralta started the year by winning his first 3 decisions and won 4 of his first 5 decisions. Goldschmidt breaks his bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's amazing how good hitters are able to cover that outside corner. You see Ryan Braun do that all the time. Jonathan Lucroy. I mean, that pitch is a good 3 inches off the outside corner, but still able to cover the inside corner. That's where you got to pitch these guys. Good hitters, you have to pound them inside, but don't miss, or they're going to hurt you.
Goldschmidt singled off Peralta his first time up, popped up his next time. Big questions about Goldschmidt. Could he follow up what was his best season of his career last year? And the answer is a resounding yes so far. He was an all-star last year. He finished second to McCutchen in the MVP voting. Won the Gold Glove at first base and the Silver Slugger Award last year, the top hitting first baseman. Led the National League in home runs and RBIs.
And maybe this is the year of the MVP season, although his Diamondbacks teammates aren't helping him too much. Last place in the West, going to be tough for him.
Full count to Goldschmidt. And a strike called, a delayed call by Paul Schreiber. And Goldschmidt is rung up as Peralta picks up his 5th K.
And Kirk Gibson doesn't like the call too much. Slider, let's see. As they catch that outside corner at the knees. Pretty close.
So Peralta really starting to rack up the strikeouts. He has 3 of his 5 in the last 5 hitters faced. 2 quick outs in the 5th. Paul Schreiber still hearing it from that Diamondbacks dugout. I always wondered what the next hitter, what his take on that is the dugouts barking at the umpire, the previous hitters yelling at the umpire, and then Montero strides up there. And Paul, I thought that was a strike. I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah, normally guys like Paul Goldschmidt will get the benefit of the doubt on something like that, but a strike's a strike. It was borderline, and Willie got the call. Yeah, Montero's walking up there telling the dugout, "Hey, quiet down. I'm coming up now. It's my turn."
Wait for Aaron Hill to come up to yell at him again. Big cut and a miss. It's a pitch he struck him out on in the 3rd inning. Montero has that quick strike ability, though. Got to stay on top of your game with him. 10 home runs this season.
And I figure there's got to be a lot of guys on base. Goldschmidt's good on base percentage. He can get on base. Kirk Gibson and Turner Ward questioning that strike zone.
2-2 to Montero. And a long look in. Peralta and Lucroy having a tough time settling on the right pitch. Full count. Montero, a very poor season last season. Remember, a couple of years ago, he signed a 5-year deal. We were actually here, the Brewers were here in Arizona when he signed that contract. And then came back last year and had his worst season as a big leaguer. He hit just .230 and just 11 home runs.
Hey, remember he announced that big contract when he was actually on a disabled list.
That's right.
He's the guy that you can count on. He's going to catch just about every day, give you good offense. Pretty good catcher, but he can hit.
Payoff pitch. Montero pops it up. Ramirez will make the call. And Willie Peralta, the 3-up, 3-down inning. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. Roof is open, lights are on at Chase Field. Brewers fans here supporting their team. And it's all tied up, 3 apiece. We head to the 6th inning now. Lucroy will lead off. Lucroy, Ramirez, Chris Davis against Brandon McCarthy, who is going along well here recently. He has retired 8 straight. Peralta's retired 7 in a row. And 10 of his last 11. So after a lot of offense, in the first 2.5 innings, these pitchers have quieted things down as McCarthy deals Lucroy strike 1. First of 4 games in Arizona this week. 3 night games and then a day game on Thursday. The Brewers head to Denver after this one. And 3 games in Colorado. Jonathan Lucroy yesterday got a little swag working.
Got the gold teeth.
Sweet loafers going. That was a good look.
I don't know, was it? It's tough for Luke to pull that off, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was. He had to try hard.
But you know what he does? He dresses cowboyish, just about,
right.
Most cowboy boots and jeans, and
he threw everybody a curve.
Yeah, everybody assumed he was going to be in a cowboy getup, but
which would be straight out of his normal clothing, just like you.
Right.
You know, some guys put the effort in, some guys didn't.
I just couldn't pull off that. That's not what.
They'll tap her back to the mound. McCarthy makes the play for the out. And Lucroy is retired. 1 for 3 so far today. Well, our AT&T fan photo. Remember the hashtag #WisFanPhoto. That's a good mustache working there. David chiming in. I think that is that in front of the
Bob Uecker.
Uecker statue.
Yeah.
Very well done. One of the 4 statues out in front of Miller Park. Aramis Ramirez on the first pitch. A line drive single. His 2nd hit of the night.
He's hit the ball hard all 3 times up. Another first pitch fastball up in his eyes, and he just smokes it into center field. Most of the damage done tonight by both teams come early in the count.
Well, that'll get Chris Davis at the plate. That snaps a string of 9 in a row retired by McCarthy. Davis tripled and drove in a run in the 2nd inning. Hammered one into right center.
And got a breaking pitch in the 2nd inning with a man at first base, and look at him go down and golf it out of here. The only way you can get that kind of power on a pitch like that is to wait back, and that's something that Davis has done a good job of lately.
Southwest Airlines non-stoppable play put the Brewers on the board. And Davis over to 3rd, backhanded Prado to 2nd for 1. The turn is in time and a double play. Diamondbacks go around the horn to end the 6th. Coming up at the bottom of the 6th now. Arizona all tied at 3. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. Carsoup.com trivia question: of the 19 teams Tony Gwynn played against, how many did he have a sub 300 average against? Well, there weren't very many, were there?
Any? Had
Tony
to be
Gwynn.
one if they had the question.
Tony Gwynn passing away today. If you have not heard the news, the Hall of Famer losing his battle with cancer at the age of 54. Saw an incredible stat today about Tony Gwynn and his matchups against one of the greatest pitchers of all time, Greg Maddux. Never struck out against Greg Maddux in his career. Aaron Hill into center field, and Herrera will make the catch. Out number 1.
Tony Gwynn never had more strikeouts than walks in a season. I mean, very rarely struck out. You know, Greg was, we had that soundbite of Craig Counsell talking about the bat, 32 inches, 30 ounces. I mean, an average bat is about 34 inches, 32 ounces. That's a tiny bat that he used.
A very sad day in baseball. Statements from the Padres and the commissioner, Bud Selig. And every statement you see, those who were closest to Tony Gwynn talking about not just the impact he had on the game, which was significant, one of the great hitters of all time, the greatest Padre of all time, but the kind of man he was and the impact he had on others around the game, even after his playing days. And that says a lot about the kind of guy he was. And from our dealings with Tony Gwynn, even as he was a broadcaster for those few years in San Diego, always just a joy to be around.
Yeah. Great baseball guy. Loved to talk baseball. Loved to teach the game. You know, he's one of those great hitters that never got frustrated with, players, teammates, guys like you and I that didn't quite understand the nuances, and it came so easy to Tony, although he did work hard.
Peralta flies to center, and Herrera makes the catch there.
Tony Gwynn was one of those guys, one of the first guys that had the notebook, the scouting report on pitchers, and it wasn't like anything on a computer. Didn't have that back then. And, he'd have this notebook, every pitcher, how he got an out, or the guy got him out, or what he threw to him in certain counts, and one of the first to do that.
He was doing metrics before metrics were cool.
Right.
Had his own version of it. There's a strike to Chris Owings, the Arizona shortstop, who has a single and a run scored tonight, and a line drive out to center field. Tell you, this is one of those go figure games, right? Reneke's thinking about how to do this. Gomez has a tightness in the hamstring. Figuring tonight's the night with a ground ball power pitcher in Willie Peralta. And he does get the strikeout here, but Elian Herrera's been busy tonight, and a couple of fly ball outs in that 6th inning. Chris Davis, an RBI triple. That was in the second inning. Drove in the first run for the Brewers. And then the Diamondbacks went on a stretch in the second inning, the bottom half. 4 straight hits. They had 5 hits in the inning. Scored 3 runs, but then Scooter Gennett with the Brewers down 3-2. It's a booming home run to center field. Didn't expect that out of Scooter, did you? And it's all tied at 3. I got to admit, I didn't either.
He can do that for you. I mean, he gets a pitch he likes, gets a count in his favor. He's got some pop in that bat. He'll surprise you. Not going to hit too many opposite field home runs, but if you get something to pull, he can knock it out of the ballpark.
That was the last run scored. That was in the top of the third. That was the lead off the third, as a matter of fact. McCarthy's only given up 1 hit in the last 3 innings, and that hit was immediately wiped out with a double play to end the last inning. Meanwhile, Willie Peralta has given up just 1 hit in the last 4 innings and has now retired 10 in a row and 13 of his last 14.
And something you never would have seen from Willie in the beginning of last year. Things kind of spiral out of control for him in the beginning of the year. He's made that adjustment after the All-Star break, and well, he's been tremendous.
A key moment for Peralta came in the second as Reynolds fouls it away. Arizona had 4 straight hits. They had 3 runs in. And Peralta got a double play out of Gerardo Parra. That was huge. Helped him minimize the damage in that inning. Got him through that inning. Sometimes the big moments are early. That's a shot back up the middle. Hits the mound. In and out of the glove of Hill. The throw is in time.
Man,
the mound really took the steam out of that line shot by Reynolds.
Well, how good has the defense been in this game? Unbelievable play by Aaron Hill. Knocks it down from his knees, able to make a throw over to first base to get him by half a step. Boy, that's now 5 great defensive plays that we've seen in this game tonight.
Ron Renicky is out to chat with Ted Barrett, the first base umpire, just to make sure. He'll wait on his replay team to let him know. And yep, they got him. Yep. So Renicky already on his way back.
You can't blame Ron. That would have been a leadoff base runner. Just by half a step.
So 1 out in the 7th. Here is Segura now. Owings has made a sparkling play. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt showing that Gold Glove form. He started a 3-6-3 double play on Segura back in the second inning. Had that diving catch by Gerardo Parra that turned into 2 outs. Oh, stuffing those ballots. She's got her hands full tonight.
They don't hit him this fall.
You can vote as many times as you want at the ballpark.
You think she's filling all those out?
I think she's on her way.
It's a big task.
Remember a few years back we had the contest?
Right.
And the guy who won the contest, he filled out like 6 boxes full of it. I don't even know how many are in a box.
You want to do that again?
I think we might have to. Yeah, they'd have all-star voting parties at their house. And the winner got a dinner with Bill Schroeder. And I tagged along too. That ball's hit hard to center, but right at Peralta. Segura is retired. That's a tough 0 for 3 tonight for Segura.
Yeah, well, hey, Friday, June 27th is the Brewers T-shirt Friday. All fans at Miller Park to see the Brew Crew take on Troy Tulowitzki and the Colorado Rockies will get a free T-shirt, courtesy of Master Printwear. Call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com for tickets.
See that 1970 logo, or not really the logo, but the script on it. First year of the Brewers franchise. Our buddies at nationalpastime.com had an interesting on this day today. A year before that, in an effort to return Major League Baseball to Milwaukee, the White Sox played a home game at County Stadium in 1969. And that team, they beat the Pilots that year. And then the Pilots left Seattle after the 69 season and moved to Milwaukee.
That was in April. That wasn't determined until April. That's an amazing story. Down in spring training, didn't know if they were going to Seattle or Milwaukee until the last minute.
Yeah, on this day in 1969, that game between the White Sox and the Pilots was played. There's a strike called, and McCarthy, a quick 7th. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers go in order. The all-new Chevy Silverado. All tied at 3. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Want to send out a belated birthday wish to Roger Eisenman. Turned 89 just the other day. Lifelong Brewers fan from Wausau, Wisconsin. And served our country in World War II. Carsoup.com trivia question. Of the 19 teams Tony Gwynn played against, how many did he have a sub 300 batting average against? The answer was 3, a 338 career hitter. Anaheim, Arizona, and Seattle, the only teams sub 300 average. 268 average against the Diamondbacks, and the most games of those 3. And of course, that was later on towards the end of his career.
Yep, interleague play. Yep, that makes sense.
Peralta sitting on 98 pitches, hooked up in a 3-3 tie. It's been that way since the 3rd inning. Those 2 pitchers have stepped on the gas here recently. Kieschnick, a shot, base hit. Herrera cuts it off. Kieschnick thinking about 2. He holds up. And he would have made it. Throw was offline. But Kieschnick is 2 out of 3 in his return from the minor leagues.
Yeah, how about McCarthy getting another at bat? He's going to go up there to bunt.
Peralta's spot in the batting order is due to lead off the 8th. So Renicky trying to get him through this 7th. There's a bunt. Reynolds up with it. His only play is first. And a successful sacrifice bunt for Brandon McCarthy. And the go-ahead run now at second.
And he's helped himself a lot at the plate tonight. A couple of RBIs, now a sac bunt. And that brings up the top of the order.
It'll be Gerardo Parra. who is 0 for 3 tonight with a double play ball as well. Had that key double play in the second inning after 4 consecutive hits to start the inning. The only run scoring inning for the Diamondbacks tonight. A 3-run second. Hit him. Peralta drills Gerardo Parra, who stares him down.
And what is that?
Well, Parra is hit by a pitch to make it 1st and 2nd.
I mean, I think the last thing that really Peralta is thinking about doing is hitting Parra. And Parra, you know, staring him down like, I'm not sure what he's trying to say there, but now if you want him, I guess go get him. Don't just stand there and look at him.
That's what I say.
Right. What's that do? Nothing.
Go on it. Go out.
Just go to first base.
Now here is Martin Prado. And now Peralta with 2 on, 1 man out, needing that ground ball to turn 2. Prado was robbed of a hit by Segura in the 1st on that chopper up the middle. He singled to right his next time up. The dangerous bat is coming up next in Goldschmidt, but you can't let your guard down with Prado at the plate either. He's a good hitter. There's a strike. Spun a breaking ball in there. And the dangerous Goldschmidt coming up next.
I need a ground ball to get out of this inning in the worst way. You don't have to deal with Goldschmidt with men on base this late in the game.
There's a shot. Reynolds has it to second for 1. Segura's throw, and it is in time. And Parra trying to wipe out Segura. Segura did a great job to clear away from the slide of Parra. He came in spikes high. Check out this play by Segura. What a fantastic double play.
That was a clean slide, though. I mean, he had plenty of the bag, and Willie Peralta able to turn the double play. Well done.
Kirk Gibson going out, and I think he wants to challenge this. And we'll see. Is he going to, I'm curious to know if he's challenging that Segura kept his foot on the bag or not.
It's not reviewable.
So it's actually the call at first base, we're told. Peralta,
he's out. He's out of first base. I mean, it looks like pretty clear that he's out of first base.
Well, this is going to be a huge call.
Well, the in the vicinity play is not reviewable at second base.
As long as it's a good throw, right? A normal throw.
Throw is right on the money.
All right. And they did announce that the challenged call is at first base. Crew chief Ted Barrett, the first base umpire, along with the home plate umpire Paul Schreiber. And it looks like a quick resolution here. Safe or out. He is out, and the call is a good one. That took 56 seconds for that challenge, and the Brewers get a key double play. It's a big double play that goes 3-6-1. He's in our Marshfield Clinic shining moment. And after a shaky start, Rocky comes back and dominates the Diamondbacks after the 3-run second inning.
Yeah, he was tremendous. I mean, he was clean through the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. Got himself in a little bit of trouble in the 7th, but able to turn the most difficult of double plays at 3-6-1, leaving Paul Goldschmidt on the on-deck circle.
Got a pitching change here as Overbay is announced. We'll set up the new hurler when we come back.
This Thursday, as the D-backs take on the Milwaukee.
The Diamondbacks manager let McCarthy hit last inning. He bunted a runner over, brought him back out. Once Overbay was announced, Joe Thatcher was then called on by Kirk Gibson after McCarthy's 8 warm-up pitches. So Renicky counters with Ricky Weeks. So it is a Thatcher-Weeks matchup here to start the 8th inning in a 3-3 game.
For a bench already thin, now only 2 left on the bench, Gomez, Maldonado, and Joe Thatcher was picked up by the Diamondbacks at the trading deadline last year from the Padres, and he has been very good this year.
Former Brewer farmhand Joe Thatcher. Ricky Weeks pinch hitting for the Brew Crew in a 3-3 game. It's been that way since the 3rd inning when Jeanette homered. Now Ricky Weeks this year as a pinch hitter is 8 for 27, has 4 RBIs as a pinch hitter. Those are the splits for Thatcher, and they are significant. And you can understand why Renicky wanted a right-handed batter in this spot. He's got a lefty next in Scooter Jeanette.
Yeah, that's a delivery that's all arms and legs, and very difficult, particularly for a left-hander, to follow that baseball around. Ricky's been pretty good both sides, lefties and right-handers.
Three balls and a strike. Thatcher delivers and Weeks fouls it off. Count goes full now. Thatcher never made it to the big leagues with the Brewers. Brewers traded him during the 07 season. Payoff pitch, and down goes Weeks. Thatcher comes all the way back from behind 3-0 to strike out Ricky Weeks for the first out of the 8th inning.
Yeah, see the Brew Crew and the Zoo for one low price. $20 gets you 1 Tears reserve ticket to a select Brewers game, 1 adult admission ticket to the Milwaukee County Zoo, and a free beverage tumbler. Visit brewers.com/zoo.
Could be Thatcher's last hitter. He's got Ryan Braun coming up next, and a string of right-handed batters to follow. Scooter Gennett just continues to impress in the leadoff spot at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Hit a big homer in the third. Long home run, hit it 400 feet to straightaway center. Pops him up. Long run for Kieschnick. Out is Owings, and it'll be the shortstop who makes that catch. 2 up and 2 down for Joe Thatcher. And we'll see if Kirk Gibson's going to make a move here.
Yeah, pretty good chance he's going to come out and bring in a right-hander. And here he comes.
So with Braun coming up, Gibson's going to play the matchups. And Joe Thatcher does his job. 2 batters face, 2 outs. To Phoenix. Usually that trip is in the wintertime or in the spring, not necessarily the summer, but why not? Our Miller Lite What's on Tap, 8 o'clock airtime in the Central Time Zone tomorrow. Wade Miley against Kyle Loesch. Brewers send up their most consistent pitcher in Loesch, coming off a beautiful outing against the Mets. All right, Rockets, Will Harris, 2 outs, 8th inning. Ryan Braun coming up.
Yeah, just got called up on June 9th from AAA Reno. 2-3. And a 113 earned run average down in the minor leagues out of the bullpen. Spent most of the year last year with the Diamondbacks.
Well, Ryan Braun, last time he was at the plate in the 8th inning in a tie game, launched one out to right, gave the Brewers a 4-2 lead, and a lead they would not give up. The lone win in that 3-game series with the Reds. And here he is again in the 8th in a key spot.
And Will Harris has a pretty good 2-seam fastball, trying to run it in on the hands of Braun, knowing that Braun likes to get those arms extended.
3-3 game, all tied up. Lucroy to follow. And way inside, missing badly. 3 balls and no strikes. How about those numbers? He's been as clutch as it gets for the Brewers throughout his career.
And normally not a guy that likes to swing 3-0. We'll see if he swings at one if he likes it.
And that's ball 4. He walked him on 4 straight. And now Harris will have to deal with the hottest of the Brewers hitters in Jonathan Lucroy.
Trying to work the inside corner, just couldn't find the edge. And Jonathan Lucroy up there in a position with 2 outs. That Diamondbacks outfield is going to be playing extremely deep. Even Braun, with his good speed, is going to have a tough time scoring on anything that stays in the ballpark.
Go ahead, run it first. 2 outs in the inning. And here is Lucroy. Lucroy also with terrific numbers late in games. Just a tough out in a spot like this. Lucroy has a hit tonight. He's 1 for 3. Brandon McCarthy cannot win this game. Willie Peralta still can for the Brewers. They'll have to score in this inning, though. Braun always a threat to run.
And that's why they're keeping a close eye on him over there at first base.
Ryan has 6 stolen bases. He's been caught just twice. Outfield deep for Lucroy. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. And that one misses, not by much. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 balls and a strike now.
And Montero only 8 for 42 and throwing out base runners. That's 19%.
I don't know if there was ever a time to run, it would be now in a 2-1 count. That's an excellent success rate throughout his career at 78%. 2-1. Braun stays put. Lucroy takes ball 3.
This might be a good time to run. Yeah, get a head start. Maybe you find a gap with one and be able to score. Lucroy not a guy that swings and misses all that often.
The National League's second leading hitter, Jonathan Lucroy. Braun carries the go-ahead run in this 8th inning. Harris deals. Braun starts, then stops, and is that ball 4? No, ball 3. I beg your pardon. 3-1 the count. Braun took a dash towards second, took 1 step, and then stopped.
I think he might take off here. This is a great pitch to run on.
And there he goes. And Lucroy takes ball 4. Throw is in time for the out. Stay right there, Ryan. Don't move off that bag. Trust your umpire in that position. So back-to-back walks, and now the Brewers have the go-ahead run at second base.
That's a good job by Ed Cedar telling Braun right away to stay put, because the second base umpire rung him up. I mean, what's Braun supposed to think, right? Doesn't know what the pitch was. He stayed put. First and second now, and 2 outs.
Mike Harkey, first-year pitching coach, having a chat with Will Harris. Well, you can put yourself in Harkey's position, the Diamondbacks position, having to go out there. You can see he's talking mechanics. And you're talking mechanics in the 8th inning in the heart of the Brewers batting order in a 3-3 game.
Well, for a guy that got called up on June 9th and struggled early on. But again, you know, he spent most of the year last year with the Diamondbacks and had pretty good numbers, so he's been in this position before. Now the outfield is going to have to come in a little bit, because they're going to want to try and cut down that run on a base hit. But it doesn't look like they're coming in all that much.
This is a spot where Ramirez, with a pitcher struggling to throw strikes, is ready to ambush a first pitch fastball. He loves swinging away at that first pitch.
And they're still deep in the outfield.
2 on, 2 out, 3-3 game. And Ramirez takes one on the outside corner. That was a perfectly placed fastball there. Not much Ramirez could do with that one. Brewers need a big hit. Ramirez has 2 hits tonight and a line drive out.
Man, he's not missing by much, is he? Harris just missing those corners. Paul Schreiber, the home plate umpire, very stingy on those corners tonight.
Harris struggled to start the year, was sent back to AAA, just brought back up last week. 1-2 the count.
Pitch up and in, I think out of the strike zone, but Ramirez offered at it.
Ramirez hitting .262 overall, been much better with runners in scoring position. The 1-2, breaking ball missed, buckled his knees. 2-2 on Aramis. See what he comes with here. Great speed at second and Braun. The 2-2 on the way, and Ramirez, did he go? No, he didn't. And Braun takes third base on the pitch in the dirt. Boy, that was close.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think the Brewers got a break right there. Back-to-back curveball. Let's see, does it go? Yes, he does. I mean, that's not even close.
So a wild pitch gets Braun to third. Giving the Brewers many more additional ways to score here. Full count, 2 outs. Lucroy will be off with the pitch. There he goes. And Ramirez down the third base line. Fair. In to score is Braun. Lucroy around third. He'll try to score. The throw is cut off. And it's a 2 RBI double for Ramirez. The Brewers have taken the lead in the 8th.
The Brewers have to feel fortunate right there. It looked like Ramirez was struck out on the check swing. And on the very next pitch, Aramis gets a hanging breaking ball. Harris threw 3 in a row and just inside the third baseline, all the way down in the corner and 2 runs in. Boy, there's a big break for the Brewers. Wow, and they took advantage of it. A couple of walks and a double by Ramirez.
Badger Mutual Insurance run of the game. Lucroy was on the move with the 3-2 pitch. Scores from first. Here's Chris Davis now. 2 out, 2 strike, 2 RBI double for Aramis Ramirez. Gives him 30 runs batted in, despite missing 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. 5-3 Brewers. And Davis lines one off the glove of Owings. And around third coming home is Ramirez. A base hit and an RBI for Davis. And it's 6-3 Milwaukee. And all of this coming with 2 outs and nobody on.
Yep, and if Owings doesn't get a piece of that baseball, there's no way Ramirez is going to score on that bullet. So the Brewers are getting all kind of breaks here. First a check swing. Now that ball was hit so hard, if Owings doesn't touch it, Ramirez is not going to be able to score. So the Brewers pick up another one on a line drive by Chris Davis.
Davis with his second hit. He's driven in a pair tonight. He has 31 runs batted in now. Here's Mark Reynolds with 2 away. Joe Thatcher started the inning. Got the first 2 men out, retired Weeks and Jeanette. Kirk Gibson made the change. The right move, going with the matchups with the right-handed pitcher against a string of right-handed batters, but back-to-back walks, then a double, and then a single. There goes Davis. Montero's throw is high, but the tag is there. And Davis is caught stealing to end the inning. A 2-out rally by the Crew, though. They score 3 times, and they lead 6-3. break perhaps last inning. Aramis Ramirez from the outhouse to the penthouse, as they say. And did not get called for a swing. It was called a check swing. He delivers with a double and 2 RBIs to give the Brewers the lead. It's a 3-run lead, and that means Will Smith, the Brewers setup pitcher, is on the mound here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Yeah, picked up his first win against the Reds, and inning gave up a run though, a couple of strikeouts. He gave up a home run to Billy Hamilton, and that was right before Ryan Braun's big 2-run home run that you saw last inning. 40 punch-outs for Smith in 31 2/3 innings this year.
Smith's had a great year. He's given up all but one of his runs for the season in the month of June. So he hasn't been amazingly dominant like he was the first 2 months. It's hard to keep that pace going, but he's still been good. And he will have his work cut out for him here in the 8th. Brewers with a 3-run lead. Goldschmidt, Montero, and Aaron Hill. First 3 up against Will Smith. Goldschmidt tonight is 1 out of 3. Got to hit his first time up. Willie Peralta now in the winner's circle if the Brewers can get to the finish line. What a turnaround performance for him. He looked like he might not even get through the 2nd inning. Gave up 3 runs. He gave up 5 hits, 4 hits in a row to start the inning. But, he settled down and pitched well.
And next 4 innings, very good. Able to get himself out of trouble.
Goldschmidt lines one to right, a base hit. Well, this guy covers the plate, doesn't he?
He's something else. All good hitters do that. They cover the outside corner, fight off good pitches on the inside corner, and wait for mistakes. They just love to get those arms extended and able to get on top of it. A line driving it right, just like in the first inning.
He is turning into one of the game's great sluggers, great hitters even. So that'll bring up Montero now with a runner at first. A wave and a miss on a breaking ball. Montero threw out Chris Davis to end the 8th inning. And an interesting note on that, the last time Montero threw out a runner trying to steal at Chase Field, July 27th of last year.
Kidding.
That is hard to believe.
Yeah, it is. Now, this year he's 9 for 43.
And all of those on the road.
Yeah, all of them on the road. Amazing. Well, one of them.
All but one, right. 8 of 9. One ball, one strike. Another wave and a miss. That breaking ball tough on Montero, and he is down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is the part of the order you want to clear and not see again. It's 6 outs to go.
Yeah, that slider against left-handed hitters has been virtually unhittable against Will Smith this year. There
Got
it
it.
is.
Went right back to it, and Montero is a strikeout victim.
He's got the slider. He's got the curveball that'll throw to right-handers. And this has been money all season against lefties right here out of the strike zone. Lucroy blocks it. And a big out to get Montero.
1 away. Goldschmidt still at first. Here comes Aaron Hill. Hill 0 for 3 tonight. And Smith put it right by him. 94 with the fastball. Got another lefty due up next in David Peralta.
Got a bunch of right-handers on the bench for Kirk Gibson. Diamondbacks much better as far as position players available. They've got 5 left. Haven't used one. The Brewers only have 2.
Now the Brewers are carrying 8 relievers, so 13 pitchers total, so they're playing a man short anyway. And you don't figure Gomez is available tonight. Back up the middle. Right there is Jeanette. Nice scoop. Step on the bag. Throw to first in time. Scooter Jeanette. A 4-3 double play, and Will Smith puts another 0 on the board. Cam giving us some great images from tonight's game. There's been some stellar defense played in this game. New pitcher rock is J.J. Putz, former closer, coming to the end of his career at this point. And he'll get the 9th inning against Milwaukee with the Brewers up 3.
And he put up some big save numbers for the Diamondbacks back in 2011, had 45 saves. 2012, 32 of them. Has lost his closer's job at this point. A 540 earned run average in 16 games. He was on the DL, had right forearm tightness. Was reinstated back on the roster back on June 9th.
He'll face Mark Reynolds, who was at the plate when Chris Davis was caught stealing. (6-3) Brewers. They scored 3 runs in the 8th inning, all with 2 outs. 2 outs and nobody on, as a matter of fact. 2 walks, then back-to-back hits. Ramirez had the big hit, the double that drove in a pair. Chris Davis had a single that drove in the 3rd run of that 8th inning.
Sometimes those matchups just don't work, right? I mean, you have Thatcher in there just blowing the Brewers away, and then he replaces him with a right-hander and ends up costing him 3 runs. It's the way the game is these days, though.
No, you don't question the move. You just the execution. Harris walked Brian Braun on 4 consecutive pitches the first batter he faced, and you kind of had a sense things weren't going to go his way at that point. Gibson's bullpen has given him trouble all season. Reynolds skies one a mile high, and that'll be Aaron Hill to make the catch for the first out. Looking ahead to Arizona's 9th inning, they will head to the bottom of their order. Peralta, Owings, Roger Kieschnick. A couple of lefties in that mix with Peralta and Kieschnick. And you'll see K-Rod on the mound. Here's Segura. Tough luck night for Segura. He's hit the ball sharply a couple of times, but he is 0 for 3. Goldschmidt made a great play on him in the 2nd. Not only made a great play to snare a shot down the first baseline, but he turned it into a double play. A 3-6-3 double play. There's a bouncer right to Prado. Hard hit ball. And one of those nights for Segura. 0 for 4, nothing to show for it.
Yeah, one of those hang with 'ems for Segura tonight.
Center fielder Elian Herrera.
Frankie Rodriguez getting ready for a potential save opportunity.
Those are the kind of games that drive you nuts. You know, you hit the ball, you barrel it up 3 times and have nothing to show for it. It makes this game such a mental game, and things can get into your head. You feel like you go home, you're 0 for 4, you've had a bad night, but you hit the ball well.
Here's Elian Herrera.
He asked the guy, would you rather have 4 cheap hits or go 0 for 4 and square it up and barrel it up every time? I know what I'd say. Take the 4 cheap ones.
I know Johnny Naron, the Brewers hitting coach, he and Mike Guerrero, they've come up with this formula. How they take a little bit of that pressure off a night like this. I'm always curious to see if it works or not, but you know, it's a scoring system based on hard hit balls, what you do with 2 strikes. It's just more detailed than just a hit or not a hit.
Unfortunately, that scoring system doesn't show up on the scoreboard.
That's right.
That's what you ends up looking at every night. That batting average.
So much failure as a hitter.
Yeah.
Johnny Naron has adopted this system. He's kind of made it his own. It was started by Clint Hurdle in Texas when Naron was his assistant hitting coach. And they do it all through the Brewers minor league system. But what it does do is it zeroes you in on an at bat, a specific at bat. Anything to get your mind off the failure rate as a hitter. The best of them all still failing 7 times.
You got to have small victories in defeat.
There's Johnny Naron. About as positive as it gets. That's the kind of guy you need in a very difficult role as hitting coach, which is mostly psychologist. Herrera lines one to center field. A base hit. And thinking about 2, he's on his way. The throw comes in late. Elian Herrera with a hustle double. 2 out of 4 tonight, getting the start for Gomez. Keeps the inning alive in the ninth.
Yeah, why not get another one? Get another insurance run. That's what we're talking about. Herrera can swing it, man, from the left side of the plate. Struggles as a right-handed batter. That's a nice hack. 2 hits tonight. And gets himself into scoring position. Good gamble. 2 outs, nobody on to try to get into scoring position.
And that'll give Martin Maldonado a chance to swing the bat. So the bench has been empty for Ron Renicky. And Maldonado will hit for Will Smith. Most managers do not like to use their backup catcher in just about any circumstance. Renicky's not one of those guys, though. Quite often uses his catcher. Maldonado's hit by a pitch. I got a piece of the hand, so Maldonado will reach on a hit by pitch.
You can see where.
Wow, did that hit him? I'm not sure that hit him, and Gibson's on his way out to ask.
Well, he doesn't have any challenges left. He can ask for a review. Used the challenge. Lost it.
Remember, it's the discretion of the crew chief to go to replay in a spot like this or not. I tell you, I don't.
Hard to tell.
At the plate, second baseman
Gibson won't challenge here. And so Jeanette will bat. Scooter Jeanette, a home run in the third. He's 1 for 4 tonight. Got a couple of men on base with 2 outs.
That 2 outs, nobody on was gold for the Brewers last inning.
J.J. Putz has given up a double and a hit batter with 2 outs in this 9th inning. And Jeanette takes a strike. 0-2 the count. "37-year-old J.J. Putz was an all-star with the Mariners. Been in Arizona since 2011. That was the year the Brewers matched up against Arizona in the NLDS. Herrera takes off, pitch out, and safe is the call. Close play over there.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risk to take, isn't it? They don't want to make the third out at third base, and Montero's been throwing the baseball pretty well as of late. Almost gets Herrera going to third base.
First steal of the season in the big leagues for Elian Herrera. We talked about Montero not throwing out many runners here at Chase Field, but he's actually had some success lately. He's thrown out 5 of his last 7. Threw out Yasiel Puig twice over the weekend. And Gibson checking with Will Little. Remember, the umpires will go to challenge after the 7th inning, and they are going to take a look at this one at third base. The catch, the foot on the base,
clearly safe.
And this one's going to go against Arizona as well.
The previous play is under a video replay review, initiated with the umpire crew chief.
So a crew chief review officially.
Base runner is safe at third base.
Gibson had a challenge earlier in the game, used it and lost it. But again, after the 7th inning, it's up to the discretion of the crew chief. You know what's interesting about that play, and they're just showing it on the big screen. So his foot's in there here, but watch this.
Comes off, right?
As his foot comes up, and the tag is there. I mean, he's out. There's no feet on the base. And the tag on the helmet. So
that's you're right. The second time you look at it, but that's some ticky-tack. I mean, the plays that that baseball is trying to overturn. But I mean, to the letter of the rules, you're right. I mean, foot was in, it came off, and then the back foot got on the bag a bit after the tag was made.
Well, if it goes Gibson's way, it'll be the end of the inning. Clock is ticking here. Going on a minute and a half.
Took an awfully long time for Gibson to go out and ask for the umpires to take a look at it.
Umpires don't have any control at this point. If you're just kind of picking up the replay situation in baseball, unlike last year and previous years of replay challenge, umpires are just waiting for the response from New York.
The longer it takes, you figure the better it is for the Brewers, I would think. Who knows?
Moving in on 2.5 minutes. We had the commissioner on with us the other day, Bud Seelig, and he was telling us that the average time for a challenge, the average time is a little over 50 seconds. Looks like an answer is coming here. That's the calling umpire there, the third base umpire, Will Little. The taller one is the crew chief, Ted Barrett. He'll be the one that makes the call. figure this is the replay they're looking at in New York.
Was the tag made here, or was it on the body before Herrera was able to get that back foot on the bag? I mean, that's what they're probably looking at different angles. I mean, it's so close. You got to wonder how they can overturn something like that. But we'll see.
We're coming up on 4 minutes for this challenge. The first one lasted only 50 seconds, and now the call, safe is the call. So there you go. Now Gibson's coming out, and there's a pretty good chance he's going to be heading to the clubhouse. Gibson on a beeline out to the crew chief, Ted Barrett. And you cannot, and then out he goes. This is like arguing balls and strikes. It's an automatic ejection.
So who do you argue to, right? I mean, it's not Paul Schreiber down there at first base that made the call. It was the guys in New York.
I'm waiting for the manager, the first manager, to run over to the headset and put the headset on and start screaming at someone.
Right.
We saw Terry Collins get ejected in New York the other day. So Gibson has his say and has been ejected. So a 4 minute or 4 minute 4 second challenge. Now we got to set it up again here. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jeanette. First and third. J.J. Putz was throwing during that stretch. That's a long replay challenge.
Yeah, almost 5 minutes. I mean, you can see what the problem was. You know, the replay guys in New York trying to determine when the tag was put on Herrera, and when that back foot ended up on the bag again. Oh well.
Two and two on Jeanette. Ground ball, and that'll sneak through a base hit. Jeanette with an RBI single. And the Brewers take a 4-run lead. It's 7-3 now.
Boy, just able to sneak that one out of the reach of Aaron Hill at second base. He didn't come too far from that baseball. About a foot. And the stolen base by Herrera ends up costing the Diamondbacks a run. Brewers have had every break in the book tonight, particularly at the end of the game. That check swing. And the call at third base.
Well, it's one of those nights when you're pulling the right cards. That skips away. And 2 runners will advance. Well, the Brewers have done some damage with 2 outs in these later innings.
And if you think about it, in both innings, the 8th and 9th, I mean, conceivably, the Brewers could have been at the end of the inning without a run scoring. The check swing, the call at third base, and it's cost the Diamondbacks 4 runs. But tip your hat to the Brewers taking advantage of the breaks and coming up with big hits.
Now Ryan Braun has a chance to knock in a pair. He's 1 for 3 tonight, and Braun fouls it back. Ryan's hit came in the 3rd inning to right field. He hit a shot past Goldschmidt down the right field line, just inside the bag at first. The Brewers have 11 hits tonight, 7 runs on 11 hits. And they have been able to cash in a big way with 2 outs. They've scored the last 4 runs of this game with 2 outs. That ball's hit high in the air, right center field, way back there. Braun is going to knock it off the top of the wall. 2 runs are in. Braun on his way to third base. And a 2 RBI triple for Braun. And the Brewers bust it open in the 9th.
Well, didn't miss being a home run by very much. High fastball. Brawny with a nice easy swing right off the top of the fence, out of the reach of Parra. And 2 more in, so 3 runs in again for the Brewers with 2 outs and nobody on. What a couple of innings the Brewers have had.
And it is 9-3 Brewers. 6 runs, all with 2 outs in the last 2 innings. Triple number 3 for Braun. He has 2 hits tonight. Been on base 3 times, and now Lucroy. Brewers are now 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Lucroy, a shot foul.
Yeah, Brewers are 4 for the last 4 with runners in scoring position tonight.
There's Zach Duke. K-Rod has sat down. And Zach Duke will be called on to finish this one. Brewers are doing to the Diamondbacks what the Reds did to the Brewers yesterday. Stretching it out late as Lucroy takes one up and in, and a check swing, says Ted Barrett. Lucroy is 1 out of 3. He walked and scored in the 8th inning. Two and 2. Don't forget, tomorrow the Brewers send up Kyle Loesch, 3rd in the league in winning percentage. Loesch had the longest winning streak of the season in the National League. It went to 7 games in a row. Loesch is tied for 5th in the league in wins coming in. He'll get the ball against Wade Miley tomorrow. This Peralta-Loesch combination, back-to-back in the starting rotation, is starting to look pretty impressive at this point.
Been nice, huh? 2 different styles. You know, the power 2-seam sinker, and then you have Kyle Loesch, you know, the master of the off-speed.
Peralta looking for his 7th win tonight. Loesch has 7 already. Pop up to Hill, and that will retire the side. But the Brewers do some damage with 2 outs. They lead it 9-3. Three lead as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Got a brand new battery back there as Martin Maldonado will come in to catch. And he will catch Zach Duke, who is on to try to finish this one off tonight and put the Brewers back in the win column this evening.
Well, 32nd appearance for Zach Duke and a 4-0 record out of the bullpen, a 132 earned run average. Has been unscored upon over his last 6 appearances. Last pitched on Friday against Cincinnati. A scoreless inning with a couple of strikeouts.
Leading off for the D-backs, center field.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals won again tonight. 6-2, they beat the Mets. Brewers came into this matchup with the Diamondbacks with a 3.5 game lead over the Cardinals. So they will maintain their lead with 3 more outs. Cardinals have won 4 straight, starting to get hot. Here's David Peralta. This game was tied at 3 with 2 outs in the Brewers' 8th and nobody on. And we're sitting here in a 9-3 game. Brewers with 12 hits tonight. That's how fast things can change.
Offense in high gear for the Brewers. They've been swinging the bats well now for over 2 weeks. They're taking a lot of the pressure off this pitching staff right now.
Hard to figure the Diamondbacks' struggles at home. They are 12 games under 500 at home, 3 outs away from going to 12-25 in their home venue. Worst in the major leagues. This has not been a place the Brewers have had a whole lot of success lately. They dropped 5 out of 6 at Chase Field.
Yeah, this will be a very telling road trip. You know, here and Colorado, 2 places the Brewers have had a tough time.
There's a swing and a miss. Maldonado guns one to first. What a pick by Reynolds to secure the strikeout for the first out. Heck of a play by Mark Reynolds.
He's been something else defensively.
Shortstop.
A good pitch by Duke. It sneaks away from Maldonado, and check out Reynolds. He's taking a stretch on the foul side of the bag. You tell me he doesn't know how to play first base?
Man,
that's a heck of a play. Giving a target to Maldonado in foul territory.
And that's not a routine position. You know, that would be a position he would rarely be in.
Right.
On the outside of the bag. What a play by Reynolds.
Giving Maldonado a clear throwing alley. That was a good play.
That ball gets by him. Not only does Peralta have first base, there's a pretty good chance he's going to end up at third.
Right.
Brewers have had an excellent game defensively tonight. Just a number of great plays.
And both teams have played well defensively tonight.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have a bunch of stars on the lineup card as well defensively, including the man at the plate, Chris Owings, who had a diving stop, robbing Willie Peralta of a base hit in the 5th. And a base hit. Owings to the opposite field, his 2nd hit of the night. And 1 on with 1 out. The Brewers' next opponent, the Rockies, they'll start that series on Friday. Colorado is in Los Angeles tonight, and they are trailing 5-1. That game's in the 7th inning. Colorado, as of right now, has the longest winning streak in the National League at 5. That is in jeopardy. Dodgers have been able to close the gap. The Giants have lost 3 in a row. San Francisco's lead in the NL West is down to 6.5 games. You figure the Dodgers are going to be there at the end. Los Angeles swept that 2-game series in Australia this year. They beat the Diamondbacks And Arizona is 4-10 against the Dodgers this year.
Yeah. Hey, what if baseball is going to go to those lengths to start the season like they did this year in Australia? That's a heavy burden on both of those ball clubs, having to get ready early. I mean, a good 10 days before anybody else.
Well, Commissioner Seelig was in our booth the other day on Friday, and we asked him what the next phase of the league will be post Seelig as commissioner, and he was pretty quick with his answer, saying that international baseball will be a big part of it. And I think his quote was, "We will not even recognize Major League Baseball in a decade," with the international perspective of it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know what that means, and he wouldn't give it up, but I mean, they have plans in place that they're going to take that trip to Japan this offseason.
I think they need to incorporate the international draft. That would be the first move for me.
I agree with you. There's a strike called. So Kieschnick is out. 2 Ks for Zach Duke.
Yeah,
Owings ends up at second.
Yeah, this is a fastball right on the outside corner. Actually, right down the middle. Looking for a breaking pitch is Kieschnick there.
For J.J. Puts, number 7, Cody Ross.
Here's Cody Ross now. Last call for the Diamondbacks. 2 outs in the 9th. No stolen base, by the way, there on Owings. Defensive indifference is the official score to get him to second base. Been a rough year for Cody Ross. Well, no matter how his career ends, he'll have his moment. World Series MVP with the Giants.
Yep.
Boy, who saw that coming?
How big was he, huh?
An entire playoff run. 2010.
All those home runs. And big ones.
Duke needing one more out to put this one in the books. Good bounce back by the Brewers. Losing yesterday to the Reds, dropped 2 out of 3. And starting up again. That ball's hit hard. Left center. Right there is Herrera, and that'll do it. So Zach Duke gets the last 3 outs, and the Brewers score 6 runs in the last 2 innings and pull away 9-3, making a winner out of Willie Peralta. Back-to-back wins now for Willie. He's 7-5. Harris takes the loss, and the Brewers continue to play very well away from Miller Park. Now 22-14 on the road this year. Time for Brewers Live. We send it out to Jeff Grayson in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studios.